What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Kristen. I'm a vegan health and lifestyle coach, and today I'm going to be talking all about the top 10 foods that make me feel my very absolute best. So let's just get right into it. So number one would definitely have to be fresh, local, organic, and seasonal produce. So whenever you can, try buying things that fall under all of those categories. So I definitely feel best when I eat organic food, when I eat food that was grown near me. Not only is it good for your body, it's also really good for the environment when your food doesn't have to travel as far. And fresh produce, that's the other one. I was like, what's the other one I said? And fresh produce as often as possible. Frozen and dried and stuff like that is still awesome for you, but the more fresh produce I eat, the better I feel. Number two would have to be dark leafy greens like kale and spinach and arugula and Swiss chard and collard greens. Any kind of dark leafy green is gonna be really, really good for you. It makes me feel amazing when the bulk of my diet comes from these types of vegetables. So you can sneak these into your food in lots of ways. You don't have to just eat a giant salad full of it, although that is really great if you want to do that too. But you can toss a little bit of spinach in your smoothies in the morning and you won't even notice that it's in there. It might turn it a little bit green, but it'll taste amazing. You can add it to soups and stews and stuff like that. You can add it to spaghetti sauces. That's one really good thing that I've learned, especially for kids, is if you chop up like spinach and then add it to your marinara, your spaghetti sauce, they might not even notice. You can also blend it up with it too. So there's lots of ways to get greens in your diet. You don't have to eat them completely raw, you don't have to eat them completely plain, but the more you eat, the better you will feel. Number three would have to be fruits with a high water concentration. So things like watermelons and peaches and mangoes and anything that's just like really juicy and delicious when you eat it. So other kinds of melons and stuff like that too. Especially in the summertime or during warm months, wherever you live, the more of that kind of stuff I eat when it's hot out, the better I feel. When it's warm out, if I eat for breakfast just like a half of a watermelon, it is so satisfying and so delicious, and I feel so healthy and so hydrated and just feel really, really good. So I really try to eat a lot of fruits that have a high water concentration in them for sure. Number four would have to be fruits like bananas and dates. So those that are a little bit higher on the glycemic index, but they give you really, really good energy. Hey, bud. They give you really good energy pretty quickly. So if I wake up and I didn't get enough time before hot yoga, I'll eat a banana and a couple of dates and a bunch of water, and I will feel really, really great for hot yoga. I'll be hungry afterwards for sure, but when I eat kind of those heavier fruits, I feel really, really good too. So it's kind of balancing between the two. A lot of times for breakfast, I'll have a smoothie with bananas and dates and then some papaya and mango and pineapple and some more juicy type fruits to kind of balance it out. In the winter, I definitely have more banana heavy smoothies, and then in the summer, it kind of lightens up. So again, seasonally and locally really plays a big difference as to kind of what fruit I'm eating and when. Number five is whole grains. So things like brown rice and quinoa and millet and oats, anything like that that falls into the whole grain category. Buckwheat, there's tons of different things, and everybody's different, so what works for one person isn't going to work for another. I find that I feel best when I eat like lots of brown rice and quinoa and oats. Those are kind of my three kind of grain staples, but I know people that don't love to eat a lot of brown rice and they feel best when they eat quinoa, which quinoa is technically a seed, but it acts similar to a grain in your body, so I put it under this category. But it's really worth it to experiment with what works for you, because everybody's completely different. But I feel best when I'm eating a lot of whole grains. Those will be kind of the staple of my diet a lot of times. So oatmeal, brown rice bowls, noodle dishes, things like that. And I definitely don't eat just like white pasta noodles. I usually shoot for the brown rice gluten-free noodles because it's just brown rice, flour, and water. It's still a processed food, so I don't eat it all of the time, but I like having some on hand for sure. And then, you know, noodle dishes like ramen and stuff like that are also really good sometimes too. So I really like focusing on whole grains in my diet. They make me feel awesome and they give me long, sustainable energy. So my blood sugar, got a monkey hair in my eye. So whole grains will also really keep your blood sugar at a sustainable level. So instead of just shooting it up and then spiking it down like white flour, white pasta, white sugar will do, if you're eating whole grains, then you'll get that longer sustainable energy and blood sugar level, which will keep you full for longer, and you won't be craving things that you don't want to be craving. So I really love whole grains a lot. Number 6 would have to be root vegetables such as sweet potatoes and yams and carrots and beets and all that kind of stuff. So I really love root vegetables. Kind of similar to whole grains, these just keep me full for a long time. So my favorite is sweet potatoes and beets. Those are kind of my 2 favorite foods. But I love just roasting up some sweet potatoes or steaming some sweet potatoes and adding them to my bowls that I eat for dinner. Beets are really good in salads, and they just make me feel really in tune with the earth and really grounded when I eat these types of foods. So definitely more of these in the winter than in the summer, but they're also really good in the summertime too. You can make some awesome root vegetable salads, and you can even do some of them completely raw, which is really yummy. So there's different ways to experiment depending on what type of year it is, but I love root vegetables so much. It's seriously like roasting root vegetables with like just a little bit of like salt and pepper reminds me of just like the most delicious candy ever, and I love it. So I love roasted vegetables of any type, but roasted root vegetables and steamed root vegetables and some raw root vegetables. I just love root vegetables, so they make me feel awesome, so I really like them. Number 7 is legumes, like black beans and chickpeas and lentils. Now, not everybody loves legumes. I know a lot of people have digestion issues when they consume these types of foods, so do some experimenting. The smaller the legume, the easier it is for your body to digest. So if you're having trouble digesting chickpeas, then maybe try some lentils and go from there. You can also add a little bit of apple cider vinegar into your water when you're soaking your beans if you're cooking them from scratch. Canned beans will upset your stomach definitely more than cooked beans from scratch. So there are ways to kind of eliminate those issues that a lot of people deal with. You just kind of have to do a little bit of research, and I'm gonna do a video on that soon. But I love legumes. I don't eat a ton of them all the time, but I definitely have some every day. I eat hummus a lot. Like I said, I'll add them to my bowls. They're just a really good source of protein and energy, and that long sustainable energy as well. So number 8 would have to be raw seeds. I really like raw seeds like sunflower seeds and pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds, and sesame seeds and stuff like that. I love eating raw seeds. So I'll just add these again on top of my bowls or on top of oatmeal or on top of smoothies and stuff like that. You can also make, if you have like any nut allergies, you can make some really creamy, delicious sauces out of soaked sunflower seeds. So chia seeds, flax seeds, all of these kinds of seeds, I like to add to smoothies and bowls. A lot of them are really high in nutrition value, high in omega-3s, stuff like that. So depending on what the seed is. So I love adding these. They're a little bit lower in fat than some of the raw nuts that I like to eat. So I usually kind of add these, load these up on my bowls and the smoothies. You can make chia seed pudding. So I feel awesome when I eat seeds. They just really give me healthy, good nourishment, and I just feel a lot better when I'm including raw seeds in my diet. So I think a lot of people don't include raw seeds in their diet, and that's something that they could really benefit from. So I definitely wanted to include that on this list. Number 9 would have to be raw nuts. So kind of similar to raw seeds, I really like eating raw nuts. I think the majority of people eat roasted nuts or toasted nuts or some form of cooked nut, but I really like eating raw nuts. I buy them raw, and then if I want to, I can always toast them up or whatever I want to do that way. But I like buying them raw because I usually will eat them raw. And then when you're consuming raw nuts, raw seeds, anything raw, it's going to be higher in the nutrients and the antioxidants and all of that awesome stuff that kind of gets taken away when you heat it up. That's why a lot of people really believe in the raw food movement. I feel great when I eat mostly raw, but it really again depends on the season. So, but yeah, raw nuts make me feel awesome. I don't eat a ton of them, but I'd say like a handful-ish a day. And then you can also make amazing sauces and non-dairy milks out of them. So I always have cashews on hand because I love making like cashew Alfredo sauces and cashew sour cream, which I had a recipe for that in my last What I Eat in a Day video because it's amazing. And cashew milk, and then almonds, same thing, you can make almond milk. And then walnuts I like to put on top of my smoothies and my oatmeal and just for snacking or kind of making trail mix and stuff like that. So I recommend buying your nuts raw. If you want to toast them up, you can. Otherwise, you'll be getting amazing benefits if you're eating them raw, and that'll just give you good energy and protein, and yeah, they're really good for you. So raw nuts, highly suggest eating some raw nuts. All right, and number 10 would have to be fermented foods. Fermented foods are amazing, and I wish somebody would have told me about them earlier in my life because they make me feel so good. So fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut and kombucha and miso and things like that are so good for your gut health, especially if you've just taken a round of antibiotics. You want to replenish that good gut bacteria. So I definitely try to strive to eat some fermented foods every single day. I also have a probiotic supplement, so if I go for a while and I'm not going to have any fermented foods, like on a road trip or something like that, I'll have those to kind of take just in case. But yeah, fermented foods make you feel awesome. They're so good for your gut health, and when your gut is healthy, the rest of your body is usually really healthy. So really keeping that in mind and putting some fermented foods into your diet when you can is a good idea. I like sauerkraut in bowls. I just eat kimchi straight out of the container with chopsticks. Kombucha is a little bit expensive in the stores, but you can totally make it at home. It's pretty easy. Yeah, so highly recommend fitting some fermented foods into your diet. I bet you will seriously notice a difference in how you feel. Okay, and then just because I always have bonus tips, I have a couple bonus tips for you guys too. So my first bonus tip is to drink a ton of water. I think not enough people are drinking enough water, and a lot of times your body will think it's hungry when it's actually thirsty. So I always have water next to me. I always am drinking water. This helps me. It helps your body with so many functions that it's just too hard to even start to explain. So drinking a lot of water is bonus tip number 1. Drink a lot of this stuff. And I have cucumbers in mine today. I do lemon a lot. In the summer I'll do like berries and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be boring. You can make your water taste amazing and delicious. So yeah, drink lots of water and you will feel super amazing, I promise. And then bonus tip number 2 would be to chew your food a lot. A lot happens in your mouth when the breakdown of your food starts to happen. So try to chew your food. Aim for 25 to 50 chews per bite, which for me is completely crazy nuts town sounding. Not gonna do that. But if I just try to keep it in mind, be really mindful when you're eating, be really grateful for the food that you're eating, it will help nourish your body better. And just really chew your food and be in touch with all the tastes and the sensations. And yeah, everything that happens when you're eating is so beautiful because you're literally feeding your body and creating new cells and new growth. So if you focus on that when you're eating, it's not only gonna make the experience better for you because you're gonna be tasting things and you won't be so distracted, but your body is gonna really appreciate it as well. So yeah, those were my top 10 foods that make me feel my absolute best. And like I said before, and I will continue to say, everybody is totally different. So you really need to experiment with what works for you. These are the things that make me feel great. And I know a lot of people that also feel amazing when they eat them and maybe thought they shouldn't be eating certain things, and then they try some of them and they're like, wow, I feel great. So these are just some things to maybe try to introduce into your diet. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, please give this a thumbs up. I'm also, like I said, a certified vegan health and lifestyle coach. So if you ever want to do any one-on-one sessions, I am available for those as well. So just email me. There's an email in the description down below. I would love to work with you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will just see you next time. Peace. there's a giant spider just like walking around outside on the window, like right outside of my camera.